In Honduras, citizens mobilized in support of President Xiomara Castro's denunciation of electoral fraud plans ahead of the general elections. And Iran holds a national funeral for high-ranking Iranian military commanders and prominent scientists killed in Israeli aggressions. The International Red Crescent announced that 50 of their workers have been killed in Gaza since October 2023. Hello, welcome from the South. I'm Luis Alberto Matos from the TeleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. Stay with us. Iran held in Tehran the national funeral of high-ranking Iranian military commanders and prominent scientists killed in Israeli aggressions. A large crowd of people dressed in mourning clothes gathered since the early hours of the morning in the central Ankalaab Square to pay tribute to 60 persons killed by the Israeli aggression and say goodbye to them. The ceremony was attended by Iran's political and military leaders, in addition to hundreds of thousands of citizens who arrived in the capital from different cities. More than 600 people lost their lives in the 12 days of the Israeli aggression that targeted military centers, nuclear facilities, and residential areas in many Iranian cities. And Iran banned the director of the International Atomic Energy Agency, Rafael Grossi, from accessing its nuclear facilities. Iranian Foreign Minister Said Abbas Araghchi accused Grossi of being responsible for Israeli aggression and questioned his insistence on visiting nuclear sites bombed by Israel. The head of diplomacy emphasized that the ban complies with the Iranian parliament's decision to stop cooperating with the international organization until the safety of the Persian country's nuclear activities is guaranteed. The parliamentary regulation also includes a ban on surveillance cameras from the IAEA after discovering the leak of confidential data from its nuclear facilities in Israeli documents. The International Red Cross and the Red Crescent have denounced that 50 of their workers have been killed in the Gaza Strip since October 2023. The two entities report that at least 30 of their members were killed while carrying out relief work in the coastal enclave. They also warn about the desperate situation as the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip and call for enhanced protection of civilians and humanitarian workers. Moreover, authorities in Gaza have also condemned the killing of over 1,400 health workers in Gaza since the war broke out. The World Health Organization revealed that more than 112 Palestinian children are hospitalized every day in the Gaza Strip due to Israel's blockade and military attacks. The organization expressed concern that most of the children are suffering from severe malnutrition due to the blockade and military attacks by the Tel Aviv regime on the Palestinian enclave. The W.H.O points out that the humanitarian situation in the Gaza Strip has exceeded catastrophic levels. The agency reports that since the beginning of 2025, a total of 18,809 children under the age of 5 have been admitted for treatment for acute malnutrition. And according to the Gazan Health Ministry, a total of 549 Palestinians have been killed in and around relief centers and more than 4,000 injured since May 27th. In an interview with local media in Israel, the Zionist military assured that they received orders from their superiors to kill Palestinian civilian population while they were going to the premises established for the distribution of food. This takes place in a context marked by a humanitarian crisis after more than 20 months of extermination by the Israeli regime. The military reported that they had shot at the population of the Strip who were not carrying weapons and who did not represent a threat. The Russian Defense Ministry reported shooting down at least 31 Ukrainian drones. The air defense system intercepted UAVs in at least 9 regions in the southwest of the country. Authorities have not yet reported any casualties or material damage For their part, the territories bordering Ukraine, such as Belgorod, Bryansk, Kursk, among others, regularly report the impact of projectiles, drone raids, and attacks on the other side of the border, forcing people to seek shelter elsewhere. We now have our first break coming up. Remember, you can join us on TikTok at TeleSUR English, where you'll find news in different formats, news updates, and much more. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. In Haiti, the situation continues to be critical, with high numbers of human rights violations, millions internally displaced, and a capital mostly controlled by criminal armed groups. International affairs analyst W.H.O is currently in country. Let's welcome him to talk more on what Haiti is experiencing. Welcome, W.H.O, again to From the South.
Greetings from Haiti. Thank you for the invitation.
It's our pleasure. Danny, unfortunately, the situation in Haiti tends to fly under the radar in terms of widespread media coverage. Can you paint a picture of the current situation on the ground in Port-au-Prince? Beyond territorial control, how are these armed groups impacting the daily lives of ordinary Haitians? Access to food, water, healthcare, and basic movement.
The situation here is extremely difficult. The blockade of Haiti, the U.S. Western core group blockade of Haiti, it's a financial blockade. People wait in line at Western Union or Soje Bank for days, and they're not able to access much needed money. There's a media blockade against Haiti. There's not clarification on why these paramilitaries continue to receive how many hundreds of thousands of guns, of bullets. They just caught the Dominican government again, allowing how much of their guns of the military and the police's guns to leak into Haiti. So the Haitian people always explain this is a planned, organized, hybrid war, a multifaceted war against Haiti, against Haiti's quest for self-determination. I've been working here outside of the capital, Port-au-Prince, with different popular organizations, and we're asking the same question that TeleSUR has asked: how do we block this informational blockade? The number one thing you hear from Haitians across the country, I've been traveling hundreds of miles, keeping us as safe as possible, but the number one thing you hear over and over is United States, international community, please stop sending all of these guns. These are the guns that Jimmy Cherizier, Barbecue, and Izo, and all of these warlords from Vive Ensemble, the name of the paramilitary coalition, they're using these guns to murder, displace, humiliate, and destabilize the Haitian masses, which have historically been the backbone of struggle here in Haiti, whether it was fighting for Lavalas and Aristide, or whether it was resisting the UN Brazilian Minister US occupation. It's these masses of people who are being displaced. The gangs have a discourse in social media that they're somehow revolutionary on YouTube, on Twitter, but never once have they actually attacked the oligarchs or the imperialists. It's the masses of malheureux. Malheureux means the poorest of the poor, the most vulnerable and dispossessed, or attacked every day by these gangs, by these, what the Haitian people call terrorists.
When the Kenya-led mission was approved, many condemned it, including Haitians, so we have nothing to show in terms of the mission achieving any of its goal. What are the realistic prospects for this mission, given the complexity of the threat and past failures of international interventions in Haiti, and what are the biggest risks?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, and we have to unpack at every level. We could really say right now that it's Eric Prince versus Barbecue, the former executive of BlackRock, against the paramilitary gang leader, Jimmy Cherizier, with the Haitian people trapped in the middle. The Haitian people are truly before two occupations. That's what I continue to see, whether I'm in the south of the country, the north of the country, the outskirts of the capital, which is in the center of the country. Eric Prince continues to have a drone war And supposedly the drone war is on these gangs, but every gang member that might be killed is usually 100 to 1,000 everyday Haitians who are displaced. So the idea of a second militarized occupation, basically it's U.S. guns for hire coming in, whether it's in the form of private mercenaries like Eric Prince or Marco Rubio, which has now floated the idea of the Organization of American States intervening, the same way they did in the Dominican Republic in 1965 to turn back that revolution on April 28th, 1965. Whatever combination of government forces, of private forces, this is not a good thing for the Haitian people. Of course, there's already the Kenyan soldiers, the Salvadorian soldiers. They're on the payroll of the U.S. First under Biden, now under Trump and Marco Rubio. So it's very interesting. You have the indirect occupation through the gangs, which have now cleared out. We're talking about mass displacement, 1.3 million people, according to the latest studies by the United Nations and these other World Health Organizations, 1.3 million people displaced. And now you have these private security forces coming in, which are only going to create more displacement and more war. And Jimmy Shreve has said, well, if they can get drones with all of the money that we have from the cocaine dealing and the drug dealing, the kidnapping of Haitians, they have their own criminal economy. They're going to get their own drones and try to fight back against the Haitian National Police, which are working with the forces that I mentioned. So it's really a difficult situation. The Haitians talk about how this is a David versus an army of Goliaths, and they're just trying to survive. They don't remember the last time that they've been able to live. So much of what I'm saying comes directly from the Haitian leaders, many of whom are sitting with me behind me. The thing is that because of the language, it's a lot easy for me to translate these ideas.
Then many analysts agree that the so-called international community bears significant responsibility through historical interference, support for destabilizing actions, or simply neglect. What specific actions or inactions by key international players, I'm referring to the U.S. and the likes, you were also referring to them, have contributed to the current impasse, and what should be done differently?
Yeah, I think we also have to mention the massive cocaine industry. This is something that's not talked about a lot, but a high percentage. I read a study that 60% of Colombian cocaine entering into the Western world, the U.S. and the European countries, comes through Haiti. Because Haiti is so destabilized, because there's no functioning state. We could call it a failed state. We could call it a colonial, corrupt state. When you talk about the cocaine industry, you're talking about a $1 trillion industry. So there's no question that U.S. intelligence, the CIA, the DEA, Biden pulled the plug on the DEA right after they had a major bust in Haiti. The Haitian people tell us every day this is an organized, planned chaos. This is CIA and U.S. intelligence and DEA written all over it. So Haiti's up against very, very powerful enemies. I see my job as a journalist, photographer, to get these voices out, to try to translate these voices, because the Haitian people feel extremely isolated, like they've been forgotten about. They see a lot of similarities with the headlines you had earlier about Gaza. This is the Palestine of the Caribbean, where the people are trying to defend themselves and organize. But how can you organize against a paramilitary army that just in Port-au-Prince, the capital of some 3 million people, has already displaced more than 1/3 of the capital, occupies about 90% of the capital. So the Haitian people feel extremely overwhelmed by the number of enemies they're up against.
Danny, one very quick final question. What is your final message to the international community about the urgency that the Haitians need to go over this crisis?
Haitian people are articulating that they feel like this is an extermination campaign. They see new construction, new international investment, capital investment around their national airport, which is shut down. So there's a travel blockade against Haiti as well. We see the Dominican Republic, the minions of the U.S., Luis Abinader, deporting all of these Haitians. Trump says that he's going to end TPS in about a month's time. That could mean 500,000 Haitians are at risk in the U.S. of being deported and being deported back to what? Back to an inferno where U.S. guns and U.S. Cocaine as well, because they're the ones that ultimately benefit from it. The big international drug dealers, and it's the Haitian people who are trapped in the middle. The Haitian people don't see the U.S. and France and Canada, the core group, is somehow representing the international community. When the Haitians talk about an international community, they're thinking of their neighbors in Cuba. I mean, I can almost see Cuba from where I am in the northwest of the country. They're thinking of Venezuela. They're thinking of the Chinese and the Russians. They're thinking of multipolarity. The future of Haiti, if it continues to run through Miami, Washington, Paris, and Montreal, will be more servitude, slavery, colonization, and even genocide. If the future of Haiti runs through Caracas, Havana, Managua, uh, 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 Johannesburg, Beijing, Moscow, and there's hope for Haiti. And it's important too for the Sahel states with everyone's, new favorite Ernesto Che Guevara on social media, Ibrahim Traoré, for him to pay special close attention to what's happening to Haiti, because there's a lot of misinformation in terms of this war. This is a paramilitary war, a gang war. Jimmy Cherizier may say something different. I've interviewed thousands and thousands of Haitians. This is an all-out total imperialist war on the Haitian people.
Thank you very much, Danny, for your inputs and for your time hearing from the South.
Thank you. Thank you for the invite.
It was a pleasure. Let's now continue with other news. In Honduras, Hondurans mobilized in support of President Xiomara Castro's denunciations of electoral fraud plans ahead of the general elections. The Honduran government supported the 3 days of national marches and the commemoration of the 16th anniversary of the coup d'etat against former President Manuel Zelaya with a preventive electoral strategy. The Liberty and Refoundation Party said that the front initiated the mobilization's planning and organization activities in protest against coup plans. In addition, former President Manuel Zelaya assured that the party supports the allegations made by presidential candidate Crisis Moncada regarding the attempted electoral fraud. And Honduran President Xiomara Castro emphasized that the Hondurans are celebrating 16 years of resistance against the oligarchy in the country.
Of resistance and permanent struggle against the oligarchy and its 10 families and 25 economic groups that pay for bipartisanship to destroy our democracy.
Para destruir nuestra democracia.
We celebrate 16 years since the birth of the popular resistance. We are not conservative, nor are we opportunists.
No somos conservadores, ni oportunistas.
We are the children of the resistance of the Honduran people.
Also in Honduras, the government accepted on Friday the resignation of the Secretary of Development, Jose Carlos Cardona, after he was involved in a corruption scheme. The decision was made known after President Xiomara Castro concluded a meeting at the presidential house in which a report prepared by the Transparency Secretariat was presented. The document exposes alleged anomalies in the management of resources destined to social programs that directly compromise both Cardona and the Vice President of the National Congress, Isis Cuellar. It is expected that in the next few hours, the government will announce who will take over the leadership of the Social Development Secretariat. And the Mexican Senate approved a package of legislative reforms aimed at strengthening the search for victims of forced disappearance. Approved with 68 votes in favor, the project seeks to create a platform with the technological tools in coordination with the National Registry to optimize the search for victims. The official National Regeneration Movement denied that the reform would turn the state into a surveillance entity and maintained that biometric data would only be used with clear protocols and for humanitarian purposes. After approval, the reform will go to the Chamber of Deputies for debate and subsequent vote. We now have our second break coming up. Before we invite you to visit our Facebook page at TeleSUR English, there you'll be able to watch our top stories, special live coverage, and much more. Follow our page and activate the notification button to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. Have fun with your break. Don't go away. In In Thailand, thousands of demonstrators demanded the resignation of Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra following a leaked phone call with former Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Sen in which she criticized a Thai military chief. The massive protest was staged Saturday near the Victory Monument in downtown Bangkok. People expressed their indignation regarding a conversation in which the Prime Minister urged the current president of the Cambodian Senate to disregard Thailand's side, and she even referred to a Thai army commander stationed at the border as an opponent. The phone call has stirred controversy amid escalating border tensions with Cambodia, and it has prompted an investigation that could lead to the removal of Paetongtarn.
I cannot accept the way she talked like she was giving in to Cambodia. From a heart of a they person, we've never had a prime minister who's so weak. We've never had a prime minister that's so soft towards a country that's smaller than us. We don't want to invade anyone, but we want to say that we are they, and that we want to protect Thailand's sovereignty.
In France, thousands of people commemorated International LGBTQ+ Pride Day. The Pride Parade, which ran through the streets of Paris, aims at vindicating resistance, celebrating sexual diversity, and eradicating prejudice against homosexuals and transsexuals. The day pays tribute to the victims of violence during the 1969 riots due to vile police action at Stonewall, a gay bar in New York City in the United States. In France, 53 departments have issued an orange alert due to the latest heat wave sweeping the country. The French Meteorological Agency said 14 southeastern territories are still under orange alert due to the 51st heat wave registered since records began in 1947. Forecasts indicate that this next Sunday, thermometers will likely reach 4 degrees Celsius in several areas near the Mediterranean Sea. Therefore, authorities urge the population to stay hydrated, to avoid heavy physical exertion, and to take care of the most vulnerable people. Whereas in Spain, summer began with an orange alert and warnings of temperatures of over 40 degrees Celsius in most of its territory. The Spanish Meteorological Agency forecasts that temperatures may exceed 42 degrees in areas of Andalusia, Extremadura, Aragon, and Catalonia. On its part, the Spanish Civil Protection Agency has issued several recommendations urging people to limit sun exposure, drink plenty of water, and to reinforce preventive measures to avoid wildfires. The Mexican city of Monterrey inaugurated the Expo La Que Parte 2025, a space for the promotion and dissemination of local art. Until June 30th, more than 250 exhibitors, artists, and artisans will offer a wide variety of pieces that represent the rich cultural and artisan tradition of the country, where visitors will be able to explore each product and acquire them in support of this craft. Among the pieces on display are textile ceramics, carved wood, jewelry, and more, creating an environment conducive to cultural and economic exchange. The event will also organize various activities, such as workshops and conferences, in order to promote the appreciation of Mexican folk art. We have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. So join us on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm Luis Alberto Matos. Thank you for watching.